All right. So while we wait for a few more joiners, I'll just give you a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Ashley. I'm the Senior Account Manager here at Tumodo, and I essentially work with some of you already that are current clients or soon to be existing or soon to be new clients that will join us to essentially help you with your onboarding to make it super seamless and very interactive as well, just to ensure that we have a very comfortable transition from your current process of doing your corporate travel bookings to working with Tumodo online. So I will begin starting with the presentation. So essentially just to give you additional information. All right, so with Tumodo, apologies. So once again, that's me doing this live webinar for you to basically give you a bit more information about what's happening with Tumodo. Please feel free to ask any questions, just pop it into the chat box and I will answer it as soon as it comes through. All right, so moving on, we are going to start working and talking about more of your business travel, how to manage it, from the minute you start with Tumodo going forward. So with Tumodo, it's actually a very innovative platform that will manage all corporate travel, and it's designed based on our end users and how to streamline your workflow to make it super user-friendly, give you all the analytics that you may need, and basically just help you, do it quicker, simpler, faster, and more natural to your current process already, but just automated. So moving on, what features does Tumodo have? What does Tumodo give you? So basically, Tumodo is a all-in-one platform that can give you anything from flights. For more of our European and global clients, we have rails to book your trains and so forth. Accommodation, any hotels, may it be from 5-star all the way to a bit lower. You take a look and see which one best suits you. And of course, how to get from point A to point B, which is our car transfers, that we do operate in over 90 countries, and may it be, a specific category or a different, type of leisure, type of car transfer you'd like, you're welcome to choose that as well. So what does the system allow and what does it give you? So what we found is that we actually save up to 35% of our clients' travel budget, which will really help for planning, for budgets, and essentially help you manage and control where your spend is going. How does Tumodo do that? Well, we have no hidden fees. So if you compare all offers from hundreds of suppliers, we try to give you the best available pricing on the market. And how we do that is ensure that we do not have any hidden fees, no, any gray area when it comes to your money and where it's going. So what that means is basically we give you the flight and the pricing options, and then we will have a specific amount that is given to you in your, let's call it, service fee. Now, how do we incorporate all of this to, align with your organization? We have something called the travel policy, which most of our organizations or clients that we work with have a travel policy within the organization. Now, what this helps us do in saving the budget or saving you, money year in is essentially we group it, we create this travel policy so that we don't fall under the unexpected business travel costs that may exceed or may arise. And basically this will make sure that may it be your travel bookers, may it be your employees, if they have access, do not go outside of the travel policy and will keep into the strict parameters that you have set. And if they do, you will always be able to understand why and how that happened. And where you will see that information is by viewing the detailed analytics and reporting, which is basically a very smart business tool that essentially is going to help you analyze all travel expenses per trip and form the perfect budget going forward. So you can always manage what's going on. Now, what's going to help you to essentially save even more is either yourself or the organization have already made agreements with the corporates, or corporate agreements with the hotels or the airlines that will be able to be inputted directly into Tumodo, which is then going to, once again, save you additional cost. Alternatively, if we see that you've got a very high travel volume with a specific carrier, for example, we will then help you sign up and create or get your own corporate agreement as well. And VAT refunds, essentially this will help your organization stay on track with regards to all your VAT refunds. Now, we need to automate the processes, and we need to take all these documents and put it into beautiful formats. Now, we have multiple ways we can do this. Firstly, we have integrations. Now, what is an integration? We've actually taken, a lot of focus and time to understand how corporates work these days. Everything is online. We all have different applications. We, use different things for different, work streams. Now, how do we essentially put that all together? We use API, which is application programming integration, which includes up to 40 plus services. May it be your accounting, may it be your HR, may it be your support, and many more, which talks to each other, so you don't have to manually input all of this information. When it comes to the personal account, so each traveler or each person will have their own personal account where they can store all their information, from passports all the way to any receipts, any supporting documents they may need. May it be a visa, may it be the Emirates ID, may it even be their skyboards or any award membership numbers that you may have in terms of airlines. And then when we move on to the agreements, so what we do is we have a very convenient approval workflow that is a very seamless and fast communication within the organization. Moving on. What the webinar will be focusing on today is a few key functionalities, such as what does your key accounts manager do? What are their functionalities? Why do you have a designated key account manager? When it comes, and onto the next one, when it comes to the service customization of your business needs, how we actually take what you've discussed in your sales process, or when you were discussing with one of our sales managers of what you are looking for, what you would like the process to do or the platform to do to essentially streamline your workflow. We focus on that when it comes to the onboarding. And after that, we will then focus on how, after all of this implementation has been done, you've had a good series of bookings, how are we actually able to view it? What analytics do we add? What reporting can we pull? And how essentially you'll be able to see exactly what's going on at all times and in real time. So, starting off. So, this is all based on real life events. And what we strive for is to have your key accounts or a KAM to be a very, strategic partner in your organization who anticipates your needs and delivers a consistent and very, adaptive value to the organization. Moving on. After the sale is done, you've signed the agreement. What happens next? What we essentially try to do is we kick off with a very structured kickoff call. We provide you with a very clear plan of how we're going to implement, what steps we are going to take, and most importantly, we do not just want to hand it to you and say, good luck, have fun. We actually ensure that we have the training. We, upskill your staff. We explain how everything works. And most importantly, we want everybody to feel as comfortable on the platform as we are. The additions that come with the actual onboarding of your organization onto Tumodo is we help with the setup of everything. Adding your employees, adding the travel policy, team trainings, as I mentioned earlier, the actual physical integration, and ensuring that the workflows are put in. Now, these are a lot of words that I'm throwing out. And basically what that means is we can set everything or anything when it comes to your travel policy. For example, if you have, let's say, route limits or regional limits for specific class or departments within the organization, we can set those to ensure that if you're flying more than 4 hours, you are then eligible for business. For example, if you're originally in economy, you're flying more than 4 hours, we can then automatically ensure that that employee or that traveler is now able to book a business class ticket. When it comes to integrations, this is where we will sit with your sales and your IT teams and ensure that we have a very seamless integration when it comes to your API, and the different platforms and the different SaaS modules are all working and talking well together. And when it comes to workflow, it's basically understanding, okay, what do you do on a day-to-day? How do you essentially go about booking a flight for any individual? Do you start with a request from the employee or the traveler? Does it then have to go to, let's say the department head or to HR? Then from there it goes to the travel coordinator, which will then look for the ticket, find the one that's within the policy, go back and actually find the policy first and foremost, and understand which category this person or this traveler is actually falls under. From there, taking all of that and then going back to HR, back to department head, back to employee to actually say, is this the correct flight? By the time we've said yes, as we know, things change all the time. The flight could have gone from, let's say, 100 dirhams to 800 dirhams in a matter of minutes or hours, as long as it took. Now, what we try to do is basically take all of that and that extreme, tedious workflow in order for you to book this simple ticket or this hotel. We synopsize it for you, we make it a bit easier, we send out the approvals, we create everything that it's going to be done in a fewer steps, but it's a lot more impactful when it comes to the final output or the final decision when it comes to the actual booking process. Now, moving on to how we set up the account. It's not here's a document, figure it out, that's what we're going to do, and that is set in stone. What we like to do is we try to make it as collaborative as possible. Now, what that means is we sit with, the travel coordinators or HR, or whoever is responsible for making these bookings, and we actually understand what is going on, why do we need to do it. Let's ensure that the infrastructure and the back and the foundation is laid on really well and really solid to ensure that there are no hiccups along the way. But as we know, organizations change all the time, processes change all the time. Now, why can't your platform change? And that's what the whole process is. It's to slowly make it better. Each and every day we're trying to learn from your habits and your organizational habits and try to implement it, because it's easier to follow a natural default of how you do something as opposed to learning something completely new. So moving on to the more integration side of it, as integrations actually adapt to the client's tech stack. So maybe plug and play, which is plugging in your SaaS modules, or the workflow optimization, as I previously just explained. Now, what happens if a client says, oh, we want this feature, oh, we're looking for something that does this? With us, we don't say no. We might say not right now. We might say we're working on it. We might say that is actually a great idea. Let's speak to the developers. And what that essentially does, it helps us create better features. It helps us be more inspired to what is actually going on in the market and how to enhance the platform and make it as relatable to our clients as possible. Now, as I mentioned to you earlier, closer to the beginning of the presentation, when we have our corporate agreements or maybe hotel agreements or flight agreements, we can either use what you've already agreed with hotels, or once again actually negotiate these terms on your behalf and to put it into the platform. And when that would usually come about is usually around the 6 month mark, 6 month, 9 month, 1 year mark, once we have enough data to substantiate. So how much are you actually spending? What is your, which area are you spending the most? Is it hotels? Is it flights? Is it a specific airline? Is it a specific route? Is it a specific chain of hotels? This is all the information that we actually take, and we literally look at the data and understand, okay, Mr. Client, you spend, let's call it $500,000 with Emirates this year, or the last 6 months, for example. Let's try and find a way to actually save you a bit more money, and let's work on more corporate agreements. Now, the big question or let's call it a gray area, is what is the difference between our support and what is the difference between our designated key account managers for each organization. Now, our support are well experienced travel agents that actually have the know of everything. They know everything when it comes to travel. They understand when it comes to refunds, maybe date changes, how to handle emergencies when a passenger may be stuck at the airport at midnight and there's nobody to call. They are there to essentially help and streamline and give all our travelers and all our clients a support structure that no matter what is happening in that travel, in that journey, they know they always have somebody to speak to that is going to help them through whichever hurdle they are about to encounter. Whereas your key account managers, we focus on the long-term strategy of what are we planning, where are we going, what are you looking for, do you have events, do you have certain criteria? And we want to ensure that we are planning for the future. We want to make sure that everything that we've spoken about in the last X months or years that you've been with us, we are evolving with you. We are building this platform with you. Your account is a direct representation of how your organization works. And most importantly, it's your satisfaction. All right, we want to ensure that you feel as though Tumodo is there for you. It's maybe when it comes to ensuring that all, finances are okay, reporting is okay, and the correct employees are loaded to ensure that everybody has a very seamless interaction with the platform. Now, what we've noticed and what we keep trying to push is new ideas. And these real life scenarios that our clients give us, or anything that may happen on a day-to-day, these reasons, these scenarios, these events is the best source of creativity for us. It allows us to think bigger, think broader, and actually take all of this information and give you the best platform that there is. Now, as a KAM, not even just as a KAM, within the entire organization and all the operational and supporting departments, every client call, is an opportunity for us to actually listen, to understand what you are saying, understand why you are saying it. Most importantly is to then improve how we are currently doing it and share these amazing updates that we've made for you that is going to benefit not just yourself but anyone else that comes after you. Now, another main area that KAMs focus on is essentially de-escalating a lot of issues or scenarios that may come about, which ideally in the moment, it's a very stressful moment, and we do understand. You feel like you don't have as much control because the traveler's already gone, the airline says X, this happens, or whatever the case may be. So we try to de-escalate this as much as possible, and empathize with you to understand where you're coming from. We know that what you are saying and how you are feeling is really important, because that will, help the continuity to have somebody that actually understands your pain and is looking for a clear solution to essentially help you. And it to not give you some silly excuse, but to essentially listen, understand, and produce a solution and an outcome for that. Now, we handle a high volume of calls, requests, emails, whatever the case may be. And most of those, once again, also turn into product improvements. Now, one thing that we are actively working on and actively trying to, have a bit more is actually getting our clients together, having a space where we can all connect, give feedback, learn from each other, and learn from you as the end user of what processes you put in, what certain features you use the most. Is it something like the flight tracker, where you can actually now have a very peaceful dinner and a peaceful weekend knowing that the vice president is on his flight, the flight is on time, and everything is working well? Or is it something as simple as just ensuring that everyone's getting the right notifications? Maybe the policies are in place, there is everything that you may need on the platform for them. May they be using the mobile app or online? That does not matter, because it is as interactive and intuitive as you are using on the desktop version. Now, moving on, this year is a very, very big year for travel. As you've seen online, there's been such a big boost in travel this year. I think post-COVID, everything has finally started to go back to normal and, be at even a bigger and higher and more susceptible case. Now, our vision for this year is to essentially focus, shifting that focus on more, from the admin-y, high impact, the admin, apologies, let me rephrase that, shift the focus to the more from the admin side of things, where we are sitting, looking at emails, worrying about all these small things, to more high impact consulting, understand where we can grow, understand what we can do, and essentially guide you through it at all times, and not doing things that is in our best interest, but in your best interest, because if you are happy, this generates a long-term relationship, and that's what we want. We don't want, different clients all the time that just come and go. We genuinely, when we sign up with specific clients, we ensure that it's for a long term, and we will do as much as we possibly can to manage that and increase the growth of this relationship. Excuse me. So what we've also noticed is clients don't want excuses. Clients don't want that, that could be, must be, has been, would have been, could have been situation. You essentially want a solution. And sometimes it's not just data that is your solution, but it's actually having, a team behind you that is really proactive and that values the partnership that much that we ensure that we really interact with you to give you the best of the platform. Now, if anybody has any questions, you are more than welcome to put it and post it in the chat box, and we can discuss that as we slowly get closer towards the end of the webinar. All right. Oh, we actually do have a question. Thanks, Anastasia. So our main feature, I think there's so many. There's not one feature that fits all, right? Certain clients use certain features for different reasons. Some prefer the reporting that is going to give them real-time analytics, that is going to show them everything from how much they've spent, how many violations have been made, and additionally, how much they are saving. Now, travelers and you know the other employees within the organization are not really phased of how much money they're saving the organization. They just want to ensure that they're getting on their flight and everything's working well. But for our more senior members in the organization, they really do care where their spend goes and where every buck goes. And utilizing the reporting is something really, really important. But in order to have and to maximize the reporting, the fundamentals of the workflows, the fundamental of the travel policies, the information that we've already put down in the foundation of implementing the client is more important to ensure that all features from flight tracking to reporting to the data analysis to whatever you may need is showcased on the platform. Now, moving on into who we target and who this really, really affects, as I previously just mentioned, is our travel coordinators. This essentially is going to be speeding up the time that it actually takes to manage all of these different bookings, to monitor the expenses, as I mentioned, and essentially approve trips by actually using the online portal, your email, or even the mobile app. So we do have multiple features that can allow to streamline this approval flow as well. For HR managers, we essentially help to streamline the business travel process, as I previously mentioned, which helps when you're doing searches for flights and so forth. And how we do that is by having a smart search with specific complex routes that is essentially going to help you save more money and, most importantly, have full visibility on exactly where each traveler is going. And most importantly, we do have our support and our travel agents, which are going to help execute all of these requests that you may have or any scenario that you may face. Now, our finance managers, as I previously mentioned with regards to the reporting, these reports really, really do help generate a good overview of what company spend is. It's easily, uploaded or exported into PDF for, let's say, presentation purposes, or even into your Excel to go into the fine minutiae of what exactly was spent on, why it was happened, what changes were made, and what cancellations as well. And all in all, this is going to reduce the cost within the organization to, once again, save that 35% on the yearly budget and plan more effectively going forward. Just another question. So how to get a demo? You are welcome to, pop over an email to the email address I'll show you a bit later. Reach out to any of our sales team. Go on our website. There is, as soon as you log in, there is a banner which you can actually request for a demo and move forward. And I'll show you exactly that. And moving on. All right, as I mentioned, once again, if you are looking for us or you'd like to get hold of us, we are situated in JLT, Cluster E. You're more than welcome to come visit us at our offices. You're welcome to call us additionally there's the email address if you are looking for anything else. All right, we do have another question. Once client onboarding is complete, can we still do changes on travel policies and approval flow, and how? Yes, we definitely can, and that's what makes it super easy. So what I'm actually going to do now that you asked this, I'm going to pop in quickly into our demo, and I'm actually going to show you how we can change these policies. So if I go in to the demo, and you will see a dashboard comes up, which is going to show you all the information that's needed. And I'm just going to make sure you can see this. There we go, perfect. I'm going to move into my company. So my company is exactly where we're going to make all these changes. Now, with that being said, this is mainly for travel coordinators or HR personnel or whoever has a specific access. Now, just to quickly go over the type of access we provide to all employees or the organization, we have 4 tiers. We've got employees that will only see their information. They will only be able to book their flights, their hotels, their trips, any of that. We can then move on to the the coordinators, which a coordinator is basically, let's say, the travel booker for the department or the head of that department, and they will then be able to book, issue, and see what is going on with their department and ensure that all is working, efficiently. When we come to main coordinator and main coordinator plus, they do have similar roles where they are able to book for anyone within the organization, additionally request approval, and have full access. As you can see what it looks like over here, they have full access to the platform, except they are not then able to change any policies. Now for Main Coordinator Plus, you will be able to change policies and adjust how the company would work. Now, as we're talking about the policies, the workflow, so on and so forth, when I pop into my company, you will then see a dashboard on the front which will give you all the information, analytics that you may need for the organization to prepare all these workflows, travel policies and analytics. Now on this side, on the left side, we can go into something as simple as a travel policy. It is super simple, super easy. We decide to create, here's a common policy that's already there, or a top management policy. Now, if we go into this policy and we'd like to make changes, we can just go through, scroll down, see exactly what we are trying to change. Maybe we found that, top management was actually only seeing economy class, for example, and we don't want to give them economy class flights. We only want to give them an option to see business or first. So what we can then do is we can deselect or prohibit the economy and comfort and only ensure that they will see business and first. And any other changes that you may need, want to add a route limit, want to do any of that, you can add it on, save it, and the beauty of it, it activates immediately. Any changes you make will show immediately. So there's no lag, there's no email that you have to send, wait 1 week, 3 months, whatever the case is, and pay a hefty bill at that as well. All you have to do is pop in, this is your platform, you can change it as you would like. When it comes to trip approvals, same thing. Remember we said, we've got maybe a 5-step approval. And instead of having a 5-step approval, we can actually move that down into a 2-step. So what I mean by that, let's say we've got the department head that would then approve first, and shortly after that we're going to add another one, and we're going to say, okay, the manager will then have to approve, and after that, let's say John, the CFO, will then have to approve, and we're just going to keep adding and adding and adding and adding. So why should we delay the issuance of this flight so much when we can actually shorten it? So if we know that John Clark is only there to approve anything that is out of policy. We can say, let's let him approve only when there's a violation. If they are within policy, if everything looks good, he can only approve from violations only. But now your question will probably be, okay, but then how are we going to approve the other two? If it's mandatory that both the department head as well as the manager needs to approve this, then we'll have it separately. If only one needs to approve, we can actually take the manager, apologies, let me put this here. We can actually delete this step altogether. We can find the manager, add the manager onto this first approval, and say any of. So any of the two, maybe the manager or the department head, can then approve. And if it's approved, it will go ahead. If there is a violation, then your, let's call John Clark as the VP, will then need to approve. And once you say save, that's it. Your policy or your approval flow will go into effect. All right. Is there any other questions that I could go through? All right. So the next question, hi Faith, is, as an HR manager, I find this platform very useful for implementing control measures and staying on top of travel in rapid changing teams. Yes, this is exactly how it works. It basically takes all this pain, all this frustration off you to ensure that there is a very seamless and easy way of doing travel. This, would take the frustration and the countless of emails and paperwork that you have to go through just to make a booking. Now, as we've developed and as the, scenarios and questions and, requirements from our clients has increased, the talk about more in the leisure space, which is business and leisure. Now, how do we do that? As the platform has increased, we actually decided to come up with a feature that has been sought after for a very long time, which is the vacation mode. Now, what is the vacation mode? The vacation mode will then allow your employees or anyone within your organization to be able to book their own personal flights with, for their family, for their friends, for whoever, and separate it from the organization in a whole and keep it solely private to them. Only they will be able to see the, trips that they book, for who they are booking, where they are going. This is not for the company at all. This is purely for you. And what the best part of it is, you get to maximize your spend, and basically use all the specials and the, great pricing that we have on the market or on the platform to your own benefit. So this really is going to help you use one platform for business as well as personal. All right, I'm going to give a few more minutes just in terms of any additional questions that we may have. Just to go back, Shiel, if I'm putting it the correct way, did that answer your question? If you have any additional questions when it comes to that and how we essentially, do the changes on the travel policy, approval flows, and so forth, do reach out to any of us in the team, and we will be willing to help and walk you through it. All right. I think that's about it for today. If you are looking for a demo, if you are looking for, a bit more information, if you like to actually have a tailor-made demonstration, yourself, please reach out to us. Please go onto the website. It's tumodo.io. Request for a demo, and our team will get back to you and essentially take you through the platform in more detail. And I hope that I'll be able to see you soon when we onboard you as a client. Thank you very much, everybody. I wish you a wonderful day, and hopefully